The grand chandelier sparkled above the lavish dining table as laughter filled the millionaire's mansion. Tonight was special. Mr. Harrison, a powerful businessman, had invited some of the wealthiest families in town for a dinner party. The table was set with polished silverware, crystal glasses, and dishes prepared with care. But the moment the maid, Rosa, walked in carrying a tray of steaming food, the mood shifted. Rosa had worked in the Harrison household for years, faithful, humble, and always with a smile. She poured her heart into every dish she cooked. Yet tonight, whispers spread quickly among the guests. One man sneered, "I won't eat food touched by her." A woman set down her fork dramatically. "Honestly, Harrison, you could have hired a proper chef." Others nodded, refusing to even taste the meal. Rosa froze, her hands trembling as humiliation burned her cheeks. She quietly stepped back, trying to disappear. The laughter was gone now, replaced by awkward silence and cruel judgment. And then, breaking the tension, a gentle voice spoke. It was Emily, Mr. Harrison's 12-year-old daughter. She stood from her chair, her eyes fierce with determination. She looked at Rosa, then at the guests. "If you won't eat her food," Emily said boldly, "then you don't deserve to sit at our table. Because Rosa cooks with love, and love is the richest flavor you'll ever taste." The room went still. No one had expected a child to speak such powerful words. And that was only the beginning. The room grew uncomfortably quiet after Emily's bold words. The millionaire guests, dressed in their designer gowns and tailored suits, shifted uneasily in their seats. No one dared to laugh. It was as if the chandelier itself was waiting for an answer. Mr. Harrison cleared his throat, torn between protecting his reputation and admiring his daughter's courage. His guests were powerful investors, people he wanted to impress. But his little girl's eyes burned with truth, and he couldn't silence her without breaking her heart. One guest finally scoffed. "She's just a child. What does she know about food or class?" Emily stepped closer to Rosa, gently taking her hand. "I know kindness," Emily replied, her voice steady. "And I know Rosa wakes up before sunrise to cook for us every single day. I know she remembers my favorite soup when I'm sick and bakes chocolate cake for my birthdays. She's family." Rosa's eyes welled up with tears. No one had ever defended her like this, not even Mr. Harrison, who often treated her like a servant rather than a human being. At that moment, the maid's silent years of service felt seen. Some guests looked ashamed, while others rolled their eyes, unwilling to be humbled by a child. One woman whispered loudly, "This is ridiculous. It's just food." Emily shook her head. "No, it's not just food. It's respect. If you can't respect Rosa, then you don't respect my family either." The weight of her words hung in the air. Rosa tried to gently pull her hand away, embarrassed by the attention, but Emily held on tighter. Mr. Harrison sat back in his chair, realizing something he had never admitted before: his daughter had more integrity and courage than all the adults in the room combined. And for the first time, he questioned what truly mattered: wealth or dignity. The silence broke suddenly when one of the wealthiest men at the table, Mr. Donovan, slammed his glass down. "This is absurd," he barked. "We came here for fine dining, not home cooking from a maid." His words dripped with arrogance, and several guests murmured in agreement. Rosa lowered her head, wishing she could vanish. She had endured insults before, but hearing them in front of Emily hurt in a way she couldn't describe. She tried to excuse herself, whispering, "I'll bring something else, perhaps from the hotel caterer," but Emily cut her off firmly. "No, Rosa. You did nothing wrong." The little girl turned back to the guests, her voice shaking but strong. "You think your money makes you better? It doesn't. Rosa works harder in one day than most of you do in a week." The words hit like a stone in still water, sending ripples of discomfort through the room. Some guests shifted, ashamed but unwilling to admit it. Others grew defensive, glaring at the child who dared to challenge their pride. Mr. Harrison sat frozen, his fork untouched. Every instinct told him to defend his reputation, to laugh it off, to smooth things over for the sake of business. But another part of him, the part that remembered growing up poor, watching his own mother scrub floors to survive, was stirred by his daughter's bravery. "Emily," he said softly, "that's enough." But she didn't stop. Her chin lifted higher, eyes locked on the adults around her. "If you can't eat Rosa's food, then leave. This is her table too." Gasps filled the room. Rosa covered her mouth, tears spilling freely now. The guests were stunned. Never before had anyone, let alone a child, challenged their arrogance so directly. And now, all eyes turned to Mr. Harrison. Would he side with wealth, or with truth? All eyes fixed on Mr. Harrison. The air was heavy, every guest waiting for him to put his daughter back in her place. After all, reputations were at stake, and these were people whose opinions could make or break his empire. He exhaled slowly, staring at his untouched plate. Then his gaze shifted to Rosa, her trembling hands, her tearful eyes, and the way she stood there as though she were invisible, undeserving of dignity. For years, he had accepted her presence without truly seeing her. But Emily had forced him to look. Mr. Harrison pushed back his chair and stood. His voice was calm, but firm. "My daughter is right." The word struck the room like thunder. A few guests gasped. Others whispered in disbelief. He continued, "Rosa has been with this family for over a decade. She raised Emily when my late wife passed. She has cooked every meal, cared for this home, and remained loyal when she could have gone elsewhere. She deserves respect, more respect than I have ever given her." Turning to Rosa, his eyes softened. "I'm sorry." Rosa's lips trembled, speechless. But Mr. Donovan scoffed loudly. "You can't be serious, Harrison. You'd throw away years of business relationships for a maid?" Mr. Harrison looked at him squarely. "If respecting human dignity costs me business, then so be it. My wealth means nothing if I lose my soul." A stunned hush fell over the table. Emily beamed proudly, squeezing Rosa's hand tighter. One by one, a few guests lowered their heads, ashamed. Others, brimming with pride and prejudice, began pushing back their chairs to leave. But something unexpected was about to happen, something that would change not just Rosa's life, but Mr. Harrison's as well. As a few guests stormed out, muttering about lost class and ruined dinners, others remained frozen, their eyes fixed on Mr. Harrison. His words had shaken something in them, something long buried under pride and privilege. Emily quietly pulled out a chair and guided Rosa to sit at the table. "Tonight, you're not serving," she said gently. "You're dining with us." Rosa's hand covered her mouth, her heart pounding. In all her years of service, she had never once been invited to sit at the table she prepared. She shook her head nervously. "Miss Emily, I can't. I'm just the maid." "No," Emily whispered, smiling, "your family." Mr. Harrison walked over and pulled the chair out further. "Emily's right. Please, Rosa." His tone left no room for doubt. Tears streamed down Rosa's cheeks as she slowly sat, her hands trembling against the polished wood. The silence around the table was thick, but it wasn't cold anymore. It was reverent. Mr. Donovan scoffed once more, standing to leave. But before he could, another guest, Mrs. Langford, known for her pride, surprised everyone by picking up her fork. She took a bite of Rosa's food. Her eyes widened. "This is extraordinary," she admitted softly. One by one, the remaining guests began tasting the dishes, their expressions shifting from hesitation to astonishment. It wasn't just food. It was comfort, memory, love, all cooked into every bite. Emily leaned her head on Rosa's arm, smiling up at her. Mr. Harrison raised his glass. To Rosa, for filling this home not just with food, but with love. For the first time that evening, the room erupted in genuine warmth and applause. And Rosa, once invisible, finally felt seen. Because respect, Emily had proven, was the finest dish a table could serve.